Where's the microphone? That's always the initial start of everything on content.
Already hit my leg.
This is fine. Yeah. Okay. This is over here. I can see the signals coming through there as well. So, hi Ian. I have known you for a number of years. Tell me something about yourself.
Oh, myself? So maybe I'll just do like a personal one, nothing to do with tech or nothing. Yep. So if people don't know about me, they might ask the first thing is like, oh, where's this guy from? Like, you look like Asian, but your accent is not like Asian. I can't really figure you out. And then when they figure out I'm from Mauritius, they're like, wow. Like, they would not have like even guessed that. And then some of them are like, what's Mauritius? Where's Mauritius? They don't even know. And then like, I think that's where like most people like are a bit like confused about me. And I kind of like this. It's a bit of mystery. Yeah.
So you were born in Mauritius?
Yes, correct. Yes.
Nice.
I was born in Mauritius. I came here when I was 14. Yeah, 14 years old.
Nice. Ages ago. So I would say pretty much the same, actually earlier than Pamal, but I think the same kind of category of coming during school. Yeah. So I've known you when you were working in Australia Post. You are currently a senior developer. How do you find your software journey? What's the difference between the different roles that you've had over time?
Yes, so actually it's, like you said, we've known each other for a number of years. So when we first met each other, I think I was still like either a junior. I think from there it's been a long career. But yeah, so my career has changed quite a lot from like, I did a lot of back-end development in Java, and then I kind of dabbled a bit in the front end, and then became more full stack, and then actually after Australia Post, I moved to a startup as well, more of a lead full stack. And then I got the opportunity, I moved to my latest role, more fully on the front end now. Like it has changed, yeah.
So you're not doing as much back end anymore?
Not anymore, because the current team I'm in, there's not much front end expert, and I realized like, okay, maybe I can be that expert there. So far it's been like, I've been moving around, I would say.
That definitely resonates with me as well. So when people ask me why I became a front-end engineer, my response was always that I saw the front end was struggling, and I'm always for helping the team achieve its goal. And if the team is struggling with front end, that's the area that I jumped in. And that's sort of what I do throughout my career. For one job, like at Canva, I was actually an infrastructure engineer, mostly working with Bash and YAML scripts, because that's what the team needed, right?
Yeah.
So that's good. What's the most challenging thing that you find in front end?
In the front end, most challenging thing.
Is it like business requirements? Is it the tech? Is it the people? Is it like UX?
I think actually accessibility.
Oh, nice. So you care about that. So that's yes. Impressive. That's not everybody cares about that. So what's challenging with accessibility?
It's like, it's really hard to get it right. And I myself, like I said, like I didn't like start my career in the front end or nothing. So I'm still learning through this. That's one of my weaknesses, I have to say. So every time, and I'm like, am I doing it right, doing it wrong? I do research, and you try to follow the best, but it's still, you're not sure.
Yes.
And that's the most challenging part. Like I can never get a clear answer sometimes. And yeah, that's the thing.
The thing with accessibility is the same as like writing great copy or great user interface design. Like you can build a great user interface, but it's not necessary that people will be able to use it the way you imagined it would be used. And the same is true with accessibility. You have to read things in a particular order. That might be not the order that the accessible user might expect. And stuff like that. Yeah,
exactly.
And how are you finding the accessibility tools in modern browsers? They've improved over time.
Yes, correct. Now, like you can just run an audit, and it will catch like maybe like 70%. So which is like where like most of the stuff, I think like it just does it for me. And I'm like, oh, I have not thought of this. I'm like, that's so great having this automated tooling. Like in this modern age, maybe that's why I kind of like managed to move to the front end a bit easier. I would say if you tell me to do front end 5-6 years ago, I probably like, maybe not.
Yeah.
Like now I think it has evolved quite a bit.
So you mentioned run an audit. Is that with Lighthouse, or is that like a Firebase?
With Axe.
With X. Oh, nice. And use that as a external, like you give it the website URL and it runs an
Yes,
audit?
correct, yes.
Okay, that's nice. Yeah, so X also has like a Chrome extension as well. That's sort of something that I've used in the past. But it's good that you're running it on production. You are a polyglot. You know Java. You know Dart as well. You know TypeScript, of course. What and Kotlin, of course, as well. Like, you know, a lot of languages. I've seen you use them, and you've actually been a touching point for me. So when I want to know what's upcoming and what like the more fresh developers are using, I sort of use you as my reference as well, just so you know. What strikes you as like good things about the languages, or a bad thing about maybe not go to the bad things, but what's the thing that inspires you in the different languages?
I think it's simplicity. I like to write, I think, focus on the business logic and do not write boilerplate. That's what strikes me into a language when I look for something. I do not want to write lots of boilerplate code. That's why, for example, if some people have wrote Java, and then when you move to Kotlin, it was like night and day. Like I would never go back to Java. Like what you could accomplish in Kotlin in one line, you would have to do like 10 lines in Java. And then for me, it's all about solving like business needs, customer needs. I don't really care, honestly. I do not care about the languages or anything. Like, I want to like be the fastest, like go to market the fastest and write the least code possible and make sense. That's what I look into a language these days.
That's a great mindset to have. And I think another thing that you're bringing up over here is using the right tool for the job. Like for me, I'm more of a hammer kind of person. If everything is a nail to me and I use the same hammer, because it's harder to learn different hammers, and it's even harder to move entire teams to different hammers, which is sort of the stage that I'm at. But using the right tool for the job, that's the right mindset to have, and especially when you're learning things. Is there a design pattern that you really like? Like you find yourself using inheritance a lot, or composition a lot, or higher order components, or something like that?
Composition a lot. Recently, I had the opportunity to kind of like really build a design system from scratch for my current company. From ground up. And one of the latest pattern I've been using a lot is composition with compound component. If people are not familiar, pretty much like if you're creating like a modal component, you would break it down. Like instead of exposing everything by props, you kind of break it down in a couple of components like modal body, modal footer, modal action. So then you let the consumer have the opportunity to pass in anything. For example, they can pass the button inside. If you think of a modal action, you can pass in an icon, and it's just very flexible for the consumer. There's pros and cons. The consumer can do anything, but like where I am right now with my the current design system I'm working on is like we are not really sure where we are. We don't really have a strong guideline right now, so that's why we would rather be more flexible than being strict. Because once you go strict, it's really hard.
Yes, but you could create a dependency on yourself for everything.
Exactly. Like we start a bit more flexible. Once we find a couple of patterns, like hey, it's always going to be like a solid and a a outline button. We're like, okay, now we can make it into a prop. But before this, we are not sure yet. So make it flexible. Come back later.
Excellent choice. So about this design system, can you tell me some more details about it? Like technical, is it React?
Yes, it's React. It's React, TypeScript, using vanilla extract.
Nice.
CSS in JS, and also using Radix primitive or Radix if I'm doing it right. So it's pretty much like a white labeled for building those complex components like modal, like accordion, and all of this. So it just take care of like all the accessibility for you. It's like similar to Rich UI. So what sold me into it was like I was trying to build the first component I had to build in that design system was like a modal, I think. And then when I started looking at the accessibility spec, I'm like, all right, that's going to take me like if I go to my manager or someone like the product owner, I'm like, all right, this model is going to take me 2 months to build right. They'll just laugh at me. And then that's where like I saw Radix UI, and then I'm like, you just have to style it. And the best part of why I love you could style it, they use the data attribute properties. That's what struck me the most. You could like really customize it to very low level. Like they had a data attribute, for example, and state for opening the accordion or closing. You could like style it as you go on every low level. Like that solved it for me, and took care of accessibility. Took care and then I just had to style it. It just worked out of the box.
I think one of the things that really strikes me about you quite often is that you are a passionate developer, and this shows that you actually care about delivering the right thing. But then you're also quite pragmatic that you have made the choice of using a third-party library, because quite often when people want to do the right thing, they want to do that the way they want to do it, whereas you've gone, okay, I want it right and I want it quick, so what's something that gets me the most way in an approachable fashion?
Yes.
So vanilla extract, is there something that you really like about it that you would want to showcase?
Yes, actually. So did a few evaluation first. So I've used type style. I love it. So
Okay, not maintain anymore.
yes. So love type style, and then after you style component as well, emotion, all of them. And one thing what was lacking for me was with style component emotion, I always had to go and use, I think, for my style system to create those utility props. So if people are not familiar, utility props is pretty much like you can like pass like padding, everything is pretty much by a utility, whether for your component also, and you get to reuse it using atomic CSS and everything. Yep. So style system was not maintained as well. I've not been for over 2 years, I think. And I also wanted to also like, we're not on, my current employer is not on React 18 or anything, but like with emotion and
Yeah,
style,
so nobody's using server components right
server
now, but it's
component,
always good to think about if
yes,
that
I
would be
was like,
something else to
okay,
put
think
in.
about it. And then they say recommended approach was use static extraction or
CSS,
compile time. I'm like, all right, I just want to think a bit of the future. Even though I'm not using it now, it's good to not create tech debt in the future.
Excellent.
Then I started evaluating and I saw vanilla extract. It was pretty much like, wait, it does style system for me, and it also does static extraction. I'm like, wow, this kind of like was, but the only thing was like, it was a bit brand new in the market. Like when I looked at it, was a year and a half.
Yep.
And I was like a bit hesitant, but after looking into it, and then the team and everyone, it was very active, up to date and everything. When I picked it up, it only had, I think, 4K star review. And now I looked at it last week, it had 8K. So I was like, oh, I think I've made the right choice now.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the good choices. Like, we're all based in Melbourne as well, and it has a nice big company backing it as well. And I've worked for that company as well, and I know that it is well supported within the organization as well. So it's sort of like tied to the success of an already blue chip, very successful organization. It's not going to go anywhere. And in terms of websites, so like it's React, is it like Next.js or is it something else? Is
No,
it?
it just pretty much is SPA with Vite, and that's it. Yeah.
Oh, nice. All right. So you've been a software developer for a number of years. Do you have some advice that you would like to give someone who's like starting in the industry, who's like maybe about to graduate?
Yep. So so myself, I actually never thought I would be into software development. So when I first started uni, I started computer science, and after doing algorithm and it was all this discrete math, I was like, I hate this. That's not for me.
Okay.
What is all
We're
about?
quite good at it though. Just so you know, I've evaluated you. You're one of those engineers that are very easy to hire.
Oh, thanks, Bas. Thank you. But yeah, so I kind of like, after the first, I was like, this is not for me. But so then I did a unit on PHP, and pretty much I was like, what it was an assignment on building a real estate, a mini real estate system for admin to be able to list properties and stuff. And I was like, oh, this is what programming can do. You can build your own product. I was like, why did no one tell me that instead of focusing on algorithm and maths and everything? And then from this, I kind of found my passion for it. Like, I like building products. I like building. I think that's where, like, if you know, Bas knows me, I kind of, like, on the side, I kind of, like, hack around with a few things on my spare time. So I love building products, like, trying to solve random stuff. But, yeah, finding your passion, like, even, for example, for people that are very creative, probably UX for them, like, if you're not really passionate about it, it's going to be really tough, I would say. So don't try to lie or don't try to fake it. Like, just be yourself, I would say, and then find it first. Because
be honest to yourself, and if it's something that you're passionate about, then you're gonna have a great time. If you're not passionate about it, it is one of those hard fields that you don't want to be stuck inside of it.
Yeah.
That's great advice. Is there something that you've learned that you're really proud of recently? Like, we were just having a conversation on, like, if I was building my own product, I would use I was saying that I was just use Firebase. That still seems to be one of the easiest ways to go, but you've got other alternative options as well that you might want to mention.
Oh, yes. So again, TypeScript fan here, and I've used a bit of CDK before, but before this, like I've dealt a lot on AWS services, and to be able to configure the infra, it's a bit of overhead, I have to say. I'm not an expert myself.
Yeah.
Like it's always a hard thing to keep up, and there's a new one that came out recently. It's called SST, Serverless Stack. So it's built on top of CDK. It's another framework on top of CDK, and it's just like what really like was like wow for me was like what CDK does for you does your infrastructure. It's based on top of CloudFormation, and but you can't actually run your code locally. You can't do anything.
I was going to mention that's one of the big selling points that you actually sold that to me immediately, because with everything else, it's hard to mock the real thing locally. The versions exist, but they always fail on some level. This seems like an excellent solution. But continue. So
yes, exactly. And then serverless stack SST is just built on top of CDK, but when it offers at real time, you can actually go and then spin up an API gateway, a Lambda, DynamoDB, all locally. But then it actually from what I understood, it's pretty much creates some proxy Lambda or something and then talks back to the real DynamoDB here.
So still hosted by AWS. There's no mocking.
Yes, correct. There's no mock. So what you're deving is actually going to be a mirror replica on the AWS here.
That's great. You might not know this, but you are in the category of people that have succeeded quickly. I know it's seems like an average kind of thing, but there are people that are like stuck in a developer for quite a long time. You move to a senior developer, and even there, you're someone who like knows all of these things, knows other things as well. Is there something that you would like attribute your success to?
Yes, I think mentoring.
Oh, okay.
Mentoring, even like just having a chat with you, Bas, like you just learn so much from you. I learned a lot of front end. I meet other people. I learned a lot of like backend or infra. I think mentoring, have it early in your career, meet the right people is a key thing. I have to say, so you would struggle a lot trying to learn on your own as well without having a right mentor telling you. Sometimes it's like you think you're right, but at the end of the day, there's no right or wrong answer. Sometimes it's like it's a circle. Like you keep learning all the time. Like it's only experience can actually. I think it's only experience, and meeting someone like you, I think early in my career, Bas was actually really helpful. And this is also one of the reasons I kind of moved into front end too. I have to say, when you met me, I was purely just a backend developer.
I didn't expect so much praise of me.
Yeah.
Another thing that I've noticed about you, and I also like that about Pamal as well, is that you have a very nice friend circle. So friend circle, all focused in the same technology, like IT industry kind of thing, and aware of what the market trends are, aware of what the market salaries are, where the growth opportunities are, where the different companies are hiring right now, new products are starting. I get a lot of knowledge about what's happening within like the city that we are both based in, which is Melbourne, through people like you. So I think that's quite useful as well. And your social skills are way up there. You mentioned that you did a PHP project during your uni, and that sort of gave you the idea that, hey, like I can build products and I can get things out of it. And I'm more of a builder and a creator. That's why you became a software engineer. Once you graduated, how hard was it to find your first job? Was that a struggle?
Yep. So I think I was one of the lucky one. So I did something called an industry-based learning as part of my university degree. And then it was just a 6 months placement. And then after I kind of like got into the grad program and pushing it from there on. That's why I say I got it kind of easy.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's great that you're aware of that as well. I've got it easy as well. I understand the struggles that I've had and the lack of opportunities that I might have had compared to other people, but I'm also very aware of all the opportunities that I've gotten that are just fortune. That's got nothing to based on my skill or my effort. Thank you so much, Ian, for coming today. It's always great to hear from people at the different stages of their career and to hear about different mindsets. I hope you enjoyed that.
Oh, thanks, Bas, for having me.
Thank you so much. All right, take care. Bye. Got it.
Oh.
Future best problem. Done.
Done.